Good afternoon, students of class 9. As you know that in last class we had completed the portion of the Green Revolution, and also I told you the merits and demerits of the Green Revolution. And so today I am continuing the rest portion of the story of village Palampur. So the point will be the how which land distributed between the farmers of Palampur. So I am going to start this portion. Start now. Now let's start the point how is land distributed between the farmers of Palampur. You must have realized how important land is for farming. Unfortunately, not all the people engaged in agriculture have sufficient land for cultivation. In Palampur, about one third of the 450 families are landless. That is, 150 families, most of them Dalits, have no land for cultivation. Of the remaining families who own land, 240 families cultivate small plots of land less than 2 hectares in size. Cultivation of such plots does not bring adequate income to the farmer family. So, from this paragraph, it is clear that earlier I told you that in Palampur, 450 families belonged, and one third of the family. One third of the 450 families means that 150 families are Dalits and they do not have land for cultivation. But 240 families have small plots of land which are less than 2 hectares in size. So the size of the land is very small size, so that's why they do not produce the large amount of food crops from this land. In 1960, Govind was a farmer with 2.25 hectares of largely unirrigated land. With the help of his 3 sons, Govind cultivated the land. Though they did not live very comfortably, the family managed to feed itself with a little bit of extra income from one buffalo that the family possessed. Some years after Govind's death, this land was divided among his 3 sons. Each one now has a plot of land that is only 0.75 hectare size. Even with improved irrigation and modern farming method, Govind's sons are not able to make a living from their land. They have to look for additional work during part of the year. So the next paragraph, we have seen that in 1960, the name of the farmer was Govind and he has 3 sons. So with the help of his 3 sons, he has 2.25 hectares of unirrigated land. So with the help of this land, he produced the commodities, but they did not live in good conditions, but they tried to earn extra income with the help of one buffalo. So after death of Govind's, this land was divided among these 3 sons, and each has a plot of land that is 0.75 hectare in size. So the size of the land is very small. Even with improved irrigation and modern farming method, but they are not able to make living from their land, so they have to look for additional work during part of the year. Now you can see the large number small plots scattered around the village in this picture. So there is a picture and the land is distributed 1.5, the picture is 1.5 and distribution of cultivated land given. So you will see the large number of small plots scattered around the village in the picture. These are cultivated by the small farmers. On the other hand, more than half the area of the village is covered by plots that are quite large in size. In Palampur, there are 60 families of medium and large farmers who cultivate more than 2 hectares of land. A few of the large farmers have land extending over 10 hectares or more. So now one point is that 450 families in Palampur, so only 60 families are of medium and large farmers, and they have more than 2 hectares of land, and few large farmers have land extending over 10 hectares or more. So from this, it is clear that 450 families belonged in Palampur, one-third Dalits, and 240 families small families, and they have less than 2 hectares of land, and only 60 families large farmers called large farmers, and they have more than 2 hectares of land. Now the next point is who will provide the labor. After land, labor is the next necessary factor of production. Farming requires a great deal of hard work. Small farmers along with their families cultivate their own fields, thus they provide the labor required for farming themselves. Medium and large farmers hire farm laborers to work on their fields. So now the next factor for production is labor. So labor is very important and necessary factor for production. Farming requires labor. So small farmers along with their families cultivate their own fields. Small farmers, they have small plot of land, and so they cultivate their own land. Now they provide the labor required for farming themselves. Medium and large farmers, so previously told that medium and large farmers, those are more than 2 hectares of land, they hire the farm laborers to work on their field. So farm laborers means the small farmers, those do not have the land, so they are called the farm laborers, and they work under the large or medium farmers. Farm laborers come either from landless families or families cultivating small plots of land. So, who are called farm laborers? Farm laborers are the laborers, those who do not have any land. So, they are called landless families or farmers, and these landless farmers cultivating small plots of land. Unlike farmers, farm laborers do not have a right over the crops grown on the land. Instead, they are paid wages by the farmer for whom they work. Wages can be in cash or in kind. As for example, crop. Sometimes laborers get meals also. Wages vary widely from region to region, from crop to crop, from one farm activity to another, like sowing and harvesting. There is also wide variation in the duration of employment. A farm laborer might be employed on a daily basis or for one particular farm activity like harvesting or for the whole year. So, from this we have seen that the farm laborers means landless laborers. So, they worked under the big laborers, so they do not have the right over the crops grown on the land. They produced the land, but they do not have the right on crops. Instead, they are paid wages. After cultivation, they are paid wages by the farmers. So, wages are their income. So, these wages earned by the landless laborers and farmers paid them. Wages can be in cash or in kind. In cash means or in kind means crop. So sometimes laborers get meals also. Wages vary widely. Vary means the wages are not same. It is vary means changes region to region, crop to crop, from one farm activity to another farm activity. So the rate of wages are not same in all areas. There is also wide variation in the duration of employment. A farm laborers might be employed on a daily basis. So daily basis they work and they earn wages, or for one particular farm activity like harvesting, or for the whole year. Dalai is a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages in Palampur. This means he must regularly look for work. The minimum wages for a farm laborer set by the government is Rs 60 per day. but Dala gets only rupees 35 to 40. There is heavy competition for work among the farm laborers in Palampur, so people agreed to work for lower wages. Dala complains about his situation to Ramkali, who is another farm laborer. Both Dala and Ramkali are among the poorest people in the village. So, here is a story given. Dala is a landless farm laborer. The one farm laborer, the name of this farm laborer is Dala, who works on daily wages in Palampur. Daily wages. So, he has to find the work in daily basis. The minimum wages for a farm laborer set by the government is rupees 60 per day. So, it is said by the government that the farmer laborers will get rupees 60 per day, but Dala gets only rupees 35 to 40. Why? Why Dala gets only 35 to 40? Because there is a heavy competition for work among the farm laborers in Palampur. Heavy competition means everyone tries to get work. So there are large number of supply of landless laborers. So supply greater than demand. That's why people agree to work for lower wages. That's why the lower wages the people wants to work. So Dala complains about his situation to Ramkali. Ramkali, who is another farm laborer. Both Dala and Ramkali are among the poorest people in the village. So, Dala and Ramkali are among the poorest people in the village. So now, next heading is the capital needed in farming. The capital needed in farming. You have already seen that the modern farming methods require a great deal of capital, so that the farmer now needs more money than before. So the next factor is capital. Without capital, goods cannot be produced. So modern farming methods require a great deal of capital. So the farmer now needs more money than before. So number one, most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. They borrow from large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loan is very high. They are put to great distress to repay the loan. What is said? Most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. So small farmers we know that they do not have too much money. So they have to manage the money. So they borrow the money for cultivation purposes. So they borrow from large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans is very high. So when they borrow money from money lenders, large farmers or traders, so they charged a high rate of interest. They are put to great distress to repay the loan. So their condition very in a travel situation. They do not have any scope to repay the loan. So now there is a story. Shabita is a small farmer. She plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. Besides seeds, fertilizers and pesticides, she needs cash to buy water and repair her farm instruments. She estimates that the working capital itself would cost a minimum of rupees 3000. She does not have the money, so she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh. a large farmer. Tejpal Singh agrees to give Sabita the loan at an interest rate of 24% for 4 months, which is very high interest rate. Sabita also has to promise to work on his field as a farm laborer during the harvest season at rupees 35 per day. As you can tell, this wage is quite low. Sabita knows that she will have to work very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then work as a farm laborer for Tejpal Singh. The harvest time is a very busy time. As a mother of 3 children, she has a lot of household responsibilities. Sabita agreed to these tough conditions as she knows getting a loan is difficult for a small farmer. So, from this story, it is clear that the Sabita is a small farmer. She has to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. So, she has 1 hectare of land and she decided to cultivate the land. So, she needs seeds, fertilizer, pesticides. For these purposes, she estimates that the working capital would cost minimum of rupees 3000. She does not have the money. So, she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh, a large farmer. So, she decided to borrow money from Tejpal Singh, and Tejpal Singh agrees to give Sabita the loan at an interest rate of 24%. 24% for 4 months, which is a very high interest rate. Sabita also has promised to work on his field as a farm laborer. So Sabita decided to work to his land as a laborer during the harvest season at rupees 35 per day. This wage is quite low. Sabita knows that she will have to work very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then work as a farm laborer for Tejpal Singh. The harvest time is very busy time and she has 3 children, so she has a lot of household responsibility also. Sabita agrees to this tough condition. She knows getting a loan is difficult for a small farmer. Now number 2, in contrast to the small farmers, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. They are thus able to arrange for the capital needed. How do these farmers have their own savings? You shall find the answer in the next section. So number 2 point, in contrast to the small farmers, the medium and large farmers. This is the condition of the small farmers. They do not have amount, so they are compelled to borrow money from money lenders, traders and big farmers, and in return they have to work under their land to repay the money. Rate of interest, these people charged a high rate of interest. So this is the condition of the small farmers. But the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. Own savings means they produced a large amount of goods. After selling the commodities, they earn income and they also save this money. So with the help of the savings, they cultivate their land. So they are thus able to arrange for the capital needed. How do these farmers have their own savings? So next section will continue this part. So now today up to this, so next day I will continue the rest portion. Thank you.